Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I'm going to try to keep my voice moderated so I don't shock anybody off their couch by accident. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for joining me tonight. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for you. But anyway, they are saying that there has been some incursion into Venezuelan airspace over land by our jets, and a possible land strike's coming. I will explain my thumbnail here in a bit, but what do? I always play some videos for folks, and I've got the video of Ronald Wilson Reagan from the 1960s letting us know that they have everything in place they need to take everything you own. We're talking almost 70 years ago, 65 years ago, 60 years ago, how many years ago it is? And you think they've done anything other than strengthen their position since then? Of course they have. Anyway, folks, while you get settled in, get yourself a cup of coffee or a cold brouhaha or a little bit of spirits, whatever you wish. And I hope you enjoy this clip. Let's see where Ronnie is. I'll cut my mic off so you all can enjoy it. And if you come in late, you can always rewind and listen to it, but it'll be here unless the forces at UTISL decide otherwise.
This is the issue of this election. Whether we in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. Now, it doesn't require expropriation or confiscation of private property or business to impose socialism on a people. What does it mean whether you hold the deed to or the title to your business or property if the government holds the power of life and death over that business or property? And such machinery already exists. The government can find some charge to bring against any concern it chooses to prosecute. Every businessman has his own tale of harassment. Somewhere a perversion has taken place. Our natural unalienable rights are now considered to be a dispensation of government. And freedom has never been so fragile, so close to slipping from our grasp as it is at this moment. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers. Not too long ago, two friends of mine were talking to a Cuban refugee, a businessman who had escaped from Castro. And in the midst of his story, one of my friends turned to the other and said, "We don't know how lucky we are." And the Cuban stopped and said, "How lucky you are. I had some place to escape to." And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. Man's old age dream, the ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or as we were told a few days ago by the President, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people. But they've been a little more explicit in the past. And among themselves, and all of the things I now will quote have appeared in print. These are not Republican accusations. For example, they have voices that say the Cold War will end through our acceptance of a not undemocratic socialism. Another voice says the profit motive has become outmoded. It must be replaced by the incentives of the welfare state. Or our traditional system of individual freedom is incapable of solving the complex problems of the 20th century. Senator Fulbright has said at Stanford University that the Constitution is outmoded. He referred to the president as our moral teacher and our leader. And he says he is hobbled in his task by the restrictions of power imposed on him by this antiquated document. He must be freed so that he can do for us what he knows is best. And Senator Clark of Pennsylvania, another articulate spokesman, defines liberalism as meeting the material needs of the masses through the full power of centralized government. Well, I, for one, resent it when a representative of the people refers to you and me, the free men and women of this country, as the masses. This is a term we haven't applied to ourselves in America. But beyond that, the full power of centralized government, this was the very thing the Founding Fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
And they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Are you all ready to take care of it? Are you all ready to take care of it? Who's coming in to see me tonight? I hope it's a lot of people. Ha ha ha. Sissy's here. Robin's here. Ann's here. Kim. Randy. Justin. Robin. Nice to see you. Ann. Cynthia. Randy. Nice to see you all. Debbie's here. DeCat's here. Long time no see. Flannel Jesus here. I almost said anthrax. Well, what the heck. Linda, nice to see you. Gary. Nice to see you too. Merton. Yvonne's here. I have to get a clip of that Captain Kirk, because I used to look like Captain Kirk before I got sick. Randy, nice to see you. Pappy Two Bears. Graybeard, nice to see you. Let me see. Wow, we got a lot of people coming. Brush, Wayne's here. Yes, remember to give me a thumbs up, folks. Go ahead and do it before you forget. Right, beautiful? Yeah, MS Motorsports. Miss Mendersu. Darla's here. Says, all right. Well, it's nice to see you all. And I tell you, I was watching our friend Many of you probably watched too. Breaking news! Our friend JLR investigates, and he was he was watching the radar screen for strikes on Venezuela, and there were some reports that some planes had gone through and gone over into the airspace overland of Venezuela, and I think he had one plane he saw going and just disappeared on the radar. And many of you who've been with me for a long time remember me saying, years back when everybody was watching Monkey Works, remember that? I said, why is everybody spending hours and hours looking at some schoolyard app you can get on your phone? I had that app on my phone probably almost 20 years ago. I had to have it. I would go out in the unforgiving ocean and put myself in other situations, being airborne and whatnot. And you had to know. You had to know the isobars. You had no wind speed. You had no forecasted tides, lightning strikes, all kinds of fun stuff. And you could also pull up vessels on the water. You pull up volcanoes if you wanted to. And that was a long time ago. But the Department of Defense is not going to let YouTube streamer track jets over enemy territory. No, that's going to be scratched off of there. You're not going to be able to see it, not on a civilian app. But it was interesting to watch everybody tune in. And I went to see Monkey Works because I haven't been there in a long time. I will admit, I was watching it when Trump was leaving office after the 2020 election, which I can say freely now, I should be able to say, which was stolen. I did watch it, see, and everybody thought there's a good possibility that Trump is going to come back and clean house. Remember that, folks? I thought with my bones, down to my bones, that Joseph Robinette Biden would never set foot in the White House. But it did not happen. And that's when I came to the conclusion that we're going to be going through a long march. So anyway, how many of you all remember that? Remember those days? I said, don't spend so many hours staring at a screen. Oh, it's a whirlybird. Oh, it's a clackety-clack, frick-a-frack vehicle heading over Cameroon. What could happen? Which air tanker? Oh. So anyway, he hadn't live streamed in 2 years that I could see. So that fad is over, and everybody can spend their time doing more productive things. And as frustrating as it is, we have to admit that we are making progress. It's like chopping down a big tree. And Trump and company is chopping and chopping every day. Every day. If I missed anybody in the salutations, hi, Sherry. Nice to see you. Waking Trillium, nice to see you. I apologize. I did the best I could. But anyway, if I see new ones, I will pipe up. So anyway, you notice on my thumbnail there, it says cabal land strikes. It doesn't say cartel. Why did I do that? Well, Trump was asked, are you going to go after the cartels on land? And Trump said, well, we know where the drugs are. We know where they're being made, but we'll go after government buildings too. And I'm not ruling anything out. I'm not telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not telling you what I'm not going to do. Because it's all part of the cabal, okay? I thought it was apropos to show Ronald Reagan today. And I have to play that again because I kind of lost the tail end of it. My bad. I'll play it in the future while everybody gets settled in for the chats. But I remember what they did to Reagan. First of all, they tried to assassinate him. Okay. Second of all, what they consider to be lame duck during that period of time is when the Uniparty, which we know now exists and existed back in Reagan's day, conspired to put him in a trick box over the so-called Iran-Contra affair. Okay? Latin American country tangled up with Iran. And now what are we dealing with now? Latin American country tangled up with Iran with their oil games and who the hell knows what else, sending people on our shores, physically on our shores from bases in Caracas to assassinate people on our soil or kidnap. And also plots to assassinate Donald Trump. So now we're done with you, Maduro. The bell's tolling for you, okay? And your time is up. And Donald Trump will choose your time and hour if you don't get your ass out of there, okay? So I called it cabal land strikes, not cartel, not Venezuela, Maduro, nothing. It's the cabal. They all got their fingers in it. China's got their fingers in it. Russia's playing ball because they got to be involved. They got to try to benefit their country and protect their interests whenever there's this kind of action all over the world. Also, I put shadow fleet retribution. Remember last night I showed you all video of a unmanned drones, boat drones, heading right for the rudder and stern of a tanker of the Russian Shadow Fleet, and damaged it very badly. If they didn't sink it, I don't know. And you saw the results: explosions, flames, a crippled vessel. And before we put our little heady heads down for our naps last night, there was retribution in the port of Odessa, which I meant to get a map of that area to show you exactly what's going on, so you'll know. I'll do that in the future. Just remember Odessa, okay? And that is a territory, a little strip of oceanfront, waterfront, that Ukraine has retained up to this point in the conflict. And Donald Trump warned them, you keep screwing around, you'll even lose that. He told Zelensky that. And, well, where did Russia strike as retribution for the Shadow Fleet? Bam, right there in Odessa. And I got video of the actual missile. Oh, they're trying hard to mess me up. I haven't had. Is my voice coming through good? Can y'all hear me pretty good? I hope. But anyway, there's also reports that special forces are the ones who infiltrated into Venezuela and did an extraction of Maria Machado, who I played the video where she was saying last week or about 10 days ago for the Venezuelan people to be prepared. The time is coming when Maduro would be toppled, and to be brave. And she's the opposition leader who, oh, good, I got a bunch of 5x5s. She's the opposition leader who dedicated her Nobel Prize to Donald J. Trump. Well, Special Forces extracted her in a 16-hour operation, got her out of the country, and of course coordinated with our U.S. military to make sure she had safe passage and got there up to Oslo, where they give the Nobel Prize. She got her Nobel Prize, and word on the street is that she is in the U.S. of A. But Special Forces representatives who are right now remaining anonymous are begging her not to try to return. Apparently, she wants to. I'm not making fun of her, but she wants to do a like a Padme return. You know, a print. Queen Amidala, don't go back. During the Star Wars thing, and of course she went back and with 2 Jedis and took over the throne room. Remember that? Hopefully she won't try to do a number like that. And listen to the professionals who got her out of danger. Got her out of danger. I was wondering what I should use for my background. I was going to put Obama's passport up there again because all roads are leading to Obama. I was going to use this for my thumbnail the other day. I'm going to keep it in my studio because I just might do it. I'm going to add Bozoberg to this picture, this feature film that's going to be playing now. We're watching it. FISAgate. And Bozoberg, he's back to trying to stir up trouble. And as well as that Judge Zenas, whose name rhymes with, use your imagination, something. But anyway, keeping Kilmar Abrego Garcia in our country. And hopefully that will be rectified. And, it's so obvious with these judges that are behaving like malcontents, miscreants, and misfits. The Supreme Court could simply yank them off the cases, prohibit them from having any more interaction with the Trump administration on these matters of foreign affairs and domestic security. Forget it. You're out of here. And they need to do that. Other than that, I think Trump would be very well within his purview. Hey, these judges that are constantly doing things to adversely affect our financial security, our physical security, our standing, our political comity, the way we get along with one another, civility by putting forth these red herrings to make it seem as if the Department of Justice is not working in the interests of justice is harmful, especially when these accusations are false. And as Andrew Branca, the attorney Andrew Branca, who is a member of the U.S. Supreme Court Bar, had said, Judge Zenas was pulling her opinions out of her bunghole. Okay, he used another term, but I'll use that term. They're ridiculous. They have no basis in law. How long do we have to put up with that? How long should the President of the United States have to put up with that? With a person, in my opinion, not only should not be on the federal bench, but her standing as a U.S. citizen, in my opinion, is questionable. How the hell did she get to be a federal judge? And not only that, continue to behave in this way. If they would fight this hard for American citizens, as they've done for this reprobate, in my opinion, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, what a wonderful world it would be. But no, we have a person, to the best of my knowledge, has been in our country for decades. And he has multiple children, allegedly a wife, who's been paying to domicile them? Who's been paying to feed them? Who's been paying to clothe them? Who's been paying to educate them? This loving Maryland family. Did he declare his income, that not full of hundreds he had in his pocket while he was driving 15 or however many people, many of them minors, halfway across the country with no insurance, no valid tags, no luggage. I mean, there's more crimes, potential crimes. We're looking at government fraud, okay? Welfare fraud, SNAP benefits. Where was he laying his head, and who was paying for their domicile? And was he reporting his income? But that's all neither here nor there. He should not be in this country at all. He should not be someone who's taking up our time and resources. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably approaching more than that, millions of dollars, has this one, in my opinion, reprobate cost this country? And you can multiply that out by thousands. And how many people that are attorneys are benefiting and profiting off of this tumult? I'm going to leave this up. There you go. CNN. I don't know how people can continue with a straight face to even watch that alleged news program. But I'll put up stuff like this from time to time. Let me see what's going on in the chats. I got to calm down. I'll get my blood pressure up. Ha 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 ha. Sparky, how you doing? My. Okay, I got 5x5s. That's where I left off at. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Now they come out with some Epstein stuff. I don't even want to deign that with any kind of response, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I put in comments where I know I'm not blocked that it wasn't for Donald J. Trump, Epstein, and Maxwell both would be free to this day, still doing their depraved, degenerate behaviors, bribing officials, undermining our civilization, and being overall perverts, and nobody would ever be the wiser. They'd be just as rich and just as free as they were 15 years ago, committing the crimes they were committing. Nobody would know if it wasn't for Donald J. Trump. He put them both in jail, okay? So now they're doing this cherry picking of old photos, where everybody's trying to get a picture with Donald Trump. Oh, boy, he's a millionaire. Oh, he's got a TV show. Let me get a selfie, or let me get a group picture with Donald Trump. Oh, that means he was messing around with the Epstein garbage. And, of course, we know it's idiotic thinking. It's childish thinking. People can't see beyond their nose. There's people to this day that believe that Kyle Rittenhouse, another name I couldn't mention without the fear of getting taken off, my video taken down and being suspended. That's how bad the censorship has been. And, but to this day, a lot of people think Kyle Rittenhouse was shooting black people, was shooting Black Lives Matters people, which is an asinine notion, falsehood that was pushed by mainstream media and these nitwits, many of them purporting to have a strong law background, if not a law license, a drumbeat of misrepresentations and slander about Kyle Rittenhouse. Somebody put this up the other day. I'm back on social media. I'm back in the fight, and I'm here to stay. For a quick update, 6 months ago, I made the best decision of my life and married my best friend. What's her name? I got to get both my spectacles on. Well, you all can read better than I couldn't be happier. I love you, beautiful. More announcements coming soon. Well, she seems like a nice young lady, and she's packing heat. you see there, ha ha ha. And yeah, she got some stamps on her. I won't go any farther than saying that. But hey, there's a lid for every pot. Nobody's, you'd live, what do they say? Another old saying from MASH, the TV show MASH. You can't live tailor-made in an off-the-rack world. God made us all so that we have to adjust for each other's foibles, and take the good with the bad, right? But she seems like Belle right now. So, okay, Sissy, well, they seem very happy together. And, of course, these younger generations don't look at things seriously, the old fogey like me. Hi, Damon. Nice to see you. Ha Roland's here, ladies. Y'all get ready now. Roland's here. They're putting restrictions on the internet in Australia, and people were celebrating in the streets. Yay! My kids are not going to be influenced by a bunch of weirdos on social media. They're not going to fall prey to child predators. Yay! Well, here you go. Kids are allegedly using dog photos to bypass Australia's new age verification system. One user reported uploading an image of a golden retriever, which was accepted. Yeah. I got a notification that Goggle can't verify my age, and so they put some restrictions on my account. Click here to verify your age. And I said, well, I don't know what this is all about. Everything seems to be working fine, except the usual screw-ups. And so I said, well, let me click on it. Oh, they want photo ID. They want me to give a selfie. They want this. They want, yeah, well, go pound sand, okay? I'm an old man. I mind my own damn business. And whatever benefit, I guess, Google thinks they're going to give me by proving I'm an adult, I don't want it. It's probably a bunch of access to degenerate garbage that I don't tune into anyway. So, as a elderly friend of mine said one time, kiss my backside and bark at the hole. But anyway, so no, they're not going to get anything like that from me. Neither is Utizzle or any other site. So I will be whatever anybody imagines I can be. So here he is. I had this picture the other day, but my studio wouldn't work, and I had to go to a talking head. Trump administration sanctions Maduro's narco nephews after Biden granted clemency. Can you believe that? Well, putting more heat on him. And have you seen anybody in the mainstream media discuss this? All they do is put up these hardhead jerks that criticize Trump and really ought to lose their retirement and lose their rank. But anyway, not this gentleman you see on the screen. Retired Admiral James Stavridis, former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, applauded the U.S. Coast Guard after its high-risk seizure of a sanctioned oil tanker off Venezuela, calling the operation legal and expertly executed, even as critics warned that it could escalate tensions. Well, we're going to enact the sanctions that Trump enacted during his first term, okay? Nobody's done anything about it, and now Trump is going to do something about it. It's like what somebody said, if you're going to have a war against drugs, act like it. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We're acting like it. Live with it. And they seized another tanker, which I'll have to get to that when I pull it up on the screen. Is this it? Oh, yeah, right here. Right here. This was today. This news came out. Golden State Times. U.S. forces raid another ship, this time from Iran, headed to China. Are we going to get to see that footage of another tanker? And are we going to keep it? I would venture to say yes. Like Trump said, you all are reporters. Just track this ship. You can do it. Like I said, that app has been around for 20 years. So you can track ships. You can track planes. You can watch forest fires, volcanoes, lightning strikes, all kinds of stuff on there. And if I'd have had foresight, I could have had a nightly watch party and made hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around staring at a schoolyard app. But, you know, some people, they got the touch, you know. Anyway, wait a minute. Oh, I'll get to this in a second. Did you hear Gavin Newsom? He said he wanted to see more trans kids. What in the world? Who in their right mind would say something like that? I'll get to that. But for now, do you all remember the drones I showed you all? Striking the Shadow Fleet tanker? Well, earlier today, I saw this video. This is in Odessa. And I got a follow-up of what was happening in the evening. They've been trying to put the fire out for a better part of half a day and are probably still trying to. But here's where Putin responded to them using drones to cripple the Russian Shadow Fleet tanker.
ضرب الجميع الماكينات علقة الماكينات راحت
So it was like threading a needle. Let's see. I've got the nighttime video, but let me show you the actual. They call this a Duran 2. I guess it's kind of like a Tomahawk. But here's where somebody filmed it actually in flight heading to the target. And this thing is, as you can see, was at port. It was docked around a lot of structures and a lot of other vessels and people. This was a pretty surgical hit. And like I said, it happened pretty quick after what they did to the tanker.
Çek bana atarsın. Havre patlatmışlar zaten bak. Aha gidiyor bak, drone'a bak, patlayacak bak. Patlayacak bak. Ha! Patlayacak bak. Nereye gitti? O tarafa gitti. Aha patladı. Gemiyi patlattı. Gemini. Ha. Ula. Yobbanı uğrat.
Yeah. So that's going to turn up the heat on Zelensky to get his rear end to the peace talks. I'll go ahead and let me play this video they played as night descended, they were trying to put out the blaze, and it spread. I didn't get a chance to look for updates, but I'll try to keep you posted if I hear any more about it. So they can pretty much hit anytime, anywhere. That's deep in Ukrainian territory. And it looked to me like a V2 rocket, you know, from the German days. And like a couple of clicks above a Scud missile that Saddam was using. Hi, Rain. How you doing? Nice to see you. Who else is here? What's going on? Oh, Gavin. Yeah, he said, I mean, this has got to be purposeful. It's got to be purposeful for him to be this repugnant. Or are people actually that damn, what's the term I want to use? Are they that demented? Here he is. He starts at the beginning saying he wants to see more trans kids. But here's his pretty much his whole comment on degeneracy. He wants a degenerate nation, and he wants to go after people's children.
As it relates to undocked healthcare, yeah, I'm proud of that because I believe in universal healthcare. You know, others may say it. I did it. First state in the country, regardless of pre-existing conditions, ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status. I promised that. I promoted it. I ran 3 times on it. I did it when I was mayor. People know who I am. We failed on the border. We need to own up to that. Largest border crossing in the Western Hemisphere in my state. Spent $1 billion+ to do migrant centers, try to put a lid on things. And it was quite critical, but I tried to do it in a respectful way of the Biden administration. We failed on the border. We have to own that. But we've also failed as a consequence because of that to lead the comprehensive immigration question. We've got to get the border right, then we can get to that. But I say that to make the point. You don't need sanctuary policy in this country if we have a federal government doing its job. In the absence of that, we'll deal with the cards that are dealt. And one of the cards that are dealt is people are going to end up in the emergency room, and you're going to pay for that one way or another. I want to keep people out of the emergency room. I want to keep people healthier. I want to keep people safer. And that's why we've advanced these values. Trump uses it as a cudgel. He uses it very effectively to attack our party and our values. But I'll stand up to it. And good people can disagree, but I'm very mindful.
Why did Democrats fail on the border?
Because we didn't own up to the reality. We didn't take responsibility.
But beneath it, what happened, right? Joe Biden was not a guy who didn't know that you shouldn't have, chaos at the border. You sent down National Guardsmen at a level of why for policy.
Well, I think the why was everything's in reaction to Trump. Sort of the overreach of Trump.
Yeah.
We come back and we then move 180 degrees in the opposite direction when we didn't need to or shouldn't have. And you saw mass migration across the country. It was hardly unique in the United States. You had all of the shock and supply chain shock and issues around COVID, coming out of COVID, et cetera, that created even more pressure. And then it became overwhelming. And then what also became overwhelming was this notion that we can't do it without Congress. And then Biden then proved Trump right by doing it without Congress. And in the last 6 months, we saw a significant decline in border crossings under the Biden administration that ultimately led to benefits for Trump, claiming he did it all at the end when he really closed the gap marginally. But we paid a huge price for that. And we picked up, I think, the wrong lessons in the midterms. We outperformed in the midterms. And this was a time when all Democratic governors were critical. You saw it publicly. And then they did better than we all expected. And they said, why don't we just focus on these other issues? mistake.
Oh, okay. So if Biden is the one that closed the border and Trump is the one who benefited from the good that Biden did. And he wants to give free health care to everybody, no matter their ability to pay. And COVID is the reason stuff is so high and why we have problems with the healthcare system. Not that it's been overloaded by 20 to 40 million deadbeats and people from savage countries that can't read or write coming into our country and automatically going on the dole. That has nothing to do with it. These idiots hear that healthcare payments are too high. Healthcare is too expensive. What do the liberals say? Well, make it free. If it's too expensive, just make it free. What the hell kind of thinking is that? Childish, magical thinking. And if you go back to the beginning of the video and listen to what Reagan was saying, that's how they get control over you. You can't control the economy without controlling the people with tyranny. But no, it'll all be free. We will be tyrants for free. Anyway, Nicki Minaj put this up after listening to Newsom. You got to catch it at the beginning where he talks about trans kids. Nicki Minaj said, imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Ha ha. Not even a trans adult would run on that. Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe, happy kids, not Gav. The Gav-nots. Gav out. Send in the next guy. I'm bored. I got a picture of Chucky. Waiting to whack somebody else. So anyway, we'll take some pop culture people on our side. India. Oh, by the way, speaking of pop culture, if y'all didn't catch what I was, what's going on here? What I was talking about with this kid that's putting up stuff about Tom Hanks, also WDW Pro. But this kid's been putting it, now he's redundant. He puts out a lot of videos a day. He's passionate about this stuff, but he puts out stuff about Tom Hanks. What's the other idiot? Robert De Niro, George Clooney, about what they're freaking out over Donald Trump exposing them as far as their involvement with Epstein. And of course, the media is totally ignoring this. Totally ignoring it and doing a counter psyop showing Fred Flintstone photographs of Trump with who the hell knows who from 30 years ago. But Tom Hanks, furious response after blacklisted from Hollywood. Like I said, he got fired from that movie project, a mystery thriller about a recent politician he was going to star in. Well, they pulled the plug on it. As far as his involvement, they may put a movie out, and what's going to be the psychological message? I don't know. Is it going to be about Bill Clinton being some kind of hero? Is it going to be about Joe? But it ain't going to be realistic. They want to do mystery thriller. They should do one about Biden, but show how a Marxist cabal took over the presidency, okay? Through stolen elections and benefiting from an illegal psychological warfare operation. Anyway, Trump posted this. I want to leave this up for a little while. The best is yet to come. Trump, he usually puts up something like this prior to, I'll say, instead of something big happening, I'll say prior to taking a big step forward. I'll put it that way. Because I don't want people sitting on the edges of their seats, me trying to get people pumped up and over expecting. I mean, when we take a big step towards something positive, he puts us up. The best is yet to come. So, yeah, I got a clip from us. I've got a couple of clips I didn't get to play about Stephen Miller, but somebody posted that CNN, here it is. Here it is. I think Diamond Silk posted this. Is it on the screen? No. Where are you at? Get on the screen. Huh. Well, I got a little delay here. There it is. Who put it up? Diamond Silk. CNN under fire for blackballing popular Trump official. CNN is facing criticism from conservatives and members of the Trump administration after repeatedly declining offers to host senior advisor Stephen Miller, for on-air interviews. So I'll play it. I got one from him. Talking about the Somalis. These people are a damn disgrace. Tim Kaine, senator from Virginia, yesterday, I didn't get a clip from him, but he was saying it was Trump's fault that the guardsmen got shot. After that was just before that Benny Johnson, can I ask you? Let me ask my question. Said that it was an unfortunate accident. These people are a disgrace. And they have presided over this looting of our nation's wealth, the devaluation of our currency by printing more money to hand it out to people that have no business in this country, on top of all the other damage they've done to the American people. The loss of lives to drugs and crime. But anyway, here's Stephen Miller.
He's right about one thing. It's not brand new. The Somali community has been engaged in massive, endemic, systematic fraud against the American taxpayer for years. We're going to discover ultimately, and we are in the throes right now of a full-throated, all-hands-on-deck federal investigation, is that the scope, scale, size, and sheer magnitude of the fraud eclipses anybody's worst nightmare. Look, according to official government records, 90% of Somali households with children are on federal welfare. The real number is probably 100% because federal records always undercount. So you're talking about a population that has been imported into Minnesota in which virtually every single member of that population is receiving welfare from the federal government. This could very well end up, Laura, being the greatest financial fraud scandal in American history.
Yeah. Look up Tammany Hall. Look up Boss Tweed. It's going to dwarf that historic fraud. It's going to dwarf it. And what the hell are we doing importing these people that don't want to integrate, that they believe in a culture and a jihadist religion, not Islam, okay, but jihad, okay? There's a difference. And Sharia law. Who put up something about that? Wait a minute. Here we go. America must be free. No, Africa must be free. LOL. Finally, those shouting, give us Sharia law in the USA are sad. Being deported to their country where they will practice Sharia law. Guys, what figure of speech is this called? We call it irony. Handcuffed while boarding the plane. There they go with their hijabs, okay? And washing their feet and wiping their rear ends with their hands and whatever else they do. Goodbye. Stone your neighbor. No, we don't want that. We don't want to be associated with it. Have a not so great life somewhere else. Head wrappers, okay. Yeah, that's what you call them. Fly, how you doing? Yeah, got to be packing heat. That's what they call it, packing heat. You know, open carry, I got to, you know, at least a lot of states have that. But I tell you what, it makes you vulnerable, don't you think? Because people, it's like if you got $100 bill, they make you wear it on your hip or pin it to your hat. And somebody could run up and snatch your $100 bill. Why? It makes more sense to make it legal to be able to conceal it. You know, why do you have to have it on your hip, Gary? The state I'm in has the same law. Same law. You can walk around with it on your hip. Don't you dare put it in your pocket. What sense does that make? That you make yourself vulnerable to people stealing your weapon. And then you get nervous Nellies if you try to go in the grocery store. Oh, don't let him in the grocery store. Look at him. Ah! You know, and if somebody's got something hidden, oh, that's fine. Nobody cares. How are they going to know? Yeah, that's the way it would be constitutional. Why the hell do I have to announce to the world that I've got I could have a rare pistol, you know, worth a lot of money. Why would I want to leave it there for somebody to try to grab or jump me, you know? They want to see my rare pistol. Oh, believe me, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. Let's see here. Here's something CNN put up that how did this get past CNN? I think they put it up because the people have heavy Southern accents and they're making fun of them. But the people are saying things that are contrary to CNN's narrative.
The gas, we have some of the cheapest gas right now. With the gas prices coming down lower, it should transfer over to food prices and other items eventually. And I'm loving it.
Since Trump's been in, the gas is going down, everything's getting better, and he's deporting all these criminals that come over from other countries. I think it's great. I think he ought to run again, if he could.
If he could.
Well, maybe as Vice President Vance get in there and run.
So, okay, if he doesn't come through on all his promises, then why do you still like him?
Because I think he's honest.
Okay.
You know, he's got all these people against him trying to put him out.
Did you hear the question she asked? If he doesn't keep all his promises, why do you still vote for him? He's trying his damn best. He can't help that there's judges stepping in his way, a Congress who is sitting on their hands or actively working against him. He is pushing through everything he said he would. But this guy was a nice guy. He answered very nicely, represented the redneck population very well, I believe. Ha ha ha! It doesn't sound to me like we live in different worlds. Both states allow open carry. One on your hip. no problem. You can go outside, but then you got private businesses that won't let you in and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it should be a private matter, whether or not I'm packing heat. But anyway, U.S. bombers join Japan jets in a show of force. So Trump is flexing just about anywhere he needs to flex. And China has been kicking around Japan verbally and making threats, saying they're going to behead the new prime minister and all this kind of crap. And she's kind of spunky and gave some responses back. Trump told her to cool it last week. But China's still saber rattling. And now they just lost a bunch of oil that was supposed to be coming from Iran because we took another tanker. So Trump gave him a little reminder that Japan is our ally. And we sent multiple bombers on a joint mission. Let's see if this is an article about that. Yeah. On December 10th, 2 U.S. nuclear-capable B-52 bombers flew over the Sea of Japan alongside 3 Japanese F-35 stealth fighters and 3 F-15 air superiority jets. The operation marked the first show of U.S. military presence since China began regional military exercises the previous week. In a statement on December 11th, Japan's defense ministry said the joint flight demonstrated the Allies' long commitment to preventing any unilateral attempt to alter the regional status quo by force. Tokyo and Washington reaffirmed the readiness of both the self-defense forces and U.S. forces amid heightened tensions following recent Chinese and Russian drills around Japan and South Korea. Yeah, well, you don't want to try us. You don't want to try. You know, the concealed carry, maybe it's, I don't know, Miss Winderson, I see her mentioning concealed carry, but you got to go to your local constabulary or whatever, your sheriff or constable or whatever you got, and apply. And of course, you know, here you got, you got some great sheriffs, and you got sheriffs, plumber crack sheriffs, I call them, you know, can't pull their pants up, very political. And I might, you know, in some cases, I've got stories about neighboring counties, nearby counties, you know, severe corruption, you know, and I got to go to them, kiss their rear end to get a concealed carry. When I was handling firearms before he was even born, it's an insult. An insult. And I don't want them to know. But, you know, if I want to conceal carry, that's what I got to do. Arkansas, Colette says, you can come there and carry one around. Can you conceal carry without a permit anywhere else? Or is it just Arkansas? Concealed. Do you have to apply for a permit for concealed? Or is it just Arkansas? Are there other states? I don't know all the states' laws. What is this one? My goodness. Let me play this video here. Well, let me see what this is first. Let me see. Oh, it's Donald Trump. Donald J. Trump. They were having a big old party, the lefties. What they enjoy is anything to make Donald Trump look bad. Even if that means a war and loss of life. Like, for instance, here. Looks like this is Occupy Democrats. A really disgusting sight. Looks like Donnie Boy is going to have to give back that FIFA Peace Award. Cambodia and Thailand are back at war! Exclamation point. So much for his ceasefire peace accord and a laughy face with tears coming out of their eyes. Ah, ha, ha. War! Donald Trump, he's got to give back his peace award. See how sick they are? Well, Trump put up, I had a very good conversation this morning with the Prime Minister of Thailand, Anutin, I can't pronounce that, and the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Manet, concerning the very unfortunate reawakening of their long-running war. They have agreed to cease all shooting effective this evening and go back to the original peace accord made with me and them with the help of the great Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim. The roadside bomb that originally killed and wounded numerous Thai soldiers was an accident, but Thailand nevertheless retaliated very strongly. Both countries are ready for peace and continued trade with the United States of America. It is my honor to work with Newton and Hun in resolving what could have evolved into a major war between two otherwise wonderful and prosperous countries. I would also like to thank the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, for his assistance in this very important matter. So, Occupy Democrats, go pound sand, okay, with your sick glee that you have over people losing their lives just so you can try to make Donald Trump look bad. You're sick. Speaking of sick, here's a sicko. Now, this is supposed to be lip reading. Lip reading. Take it for what it's worth. You'll probably be able to hear it better than me. But I could have played this yesterday without the lip reader's subtitles. But sometimes people hear what they want to hear and they see what they want to see. So I wouldn't take these quotes below as wholly accurate. I'll put it that way. But what do you think is going through this character's mind if this lip reader is accurate?
He's okay. He's sitting in the back. So we have to
All rise.
It sounded to me like at the beginning that he had remorse. He was talking about his wife, and he was driving him mental. And it sounds to me like he wants to just... It's the impression I got at the beginning of the tape was that he just wanted to get it over with so there's no coming back and admit to it and spare his own life. And I could see that attorney with her back to us shaking her head no. Did you all get that same impression? Is that the impression you all got? Do you want me to play it again? You can go back and rewind it. But if you want to evaluate it. Well, Gary, sounds like you had a cool cop that day. That's cool. Well, I tell you, there's nothing worse than a young cop that doesn't want to give a break. But some of your older cops, they know that you're an American citizen, you're decent, you're not hurting anybody, and they leave you alone. Ann wants me to play it back. Well, I'll play it back. Do you all feel he is we don't know how much he got to talk to his attorneys, okay? See the one with the bun in her hair or the one, the clip in her hair, the blue suit. She seemed to be shaking her head no. And he seems to be saying to her, I think about the shooting daily. It's driving me mental. I'm no good for anything. I can't do anything. And he had a wife. And it sounds like he's saying, should I just go ahead and cop to it all? And she's shaking her head no. Maybe I'm taking it wrong. Tell me what you all think, please.
He's here, I saw him, okay? He's sitting in the back.
So we have to end
All rise.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. Debbie thinks to seem it's all green screen. It's not real. We're living in a fantasy world. It's all just a show. The lip reader is reading what they want him to say. Yeah, that's why I said, yeah, the lip reader, is going to be influenced by their own notions and thoughts. And I can't really hear it that well, folks. You don't think it bothers him at all. Yeah, that's the way his affect is that way. And, how old is that guy? You look at it, you could see the horrible effects of too much soy. And, he's got a bald spot on the back of his head. He's probably not even 30, losing his hair. He's as thin as a wisp. He has no muscle structure to speak of. And, of course, we know his brain is damn near irretrievably warped with childish cartoon images that he's sexualized in his head. That, like I said, how can you go forward and have a life? How can you say to yourself that you have any kind of a future when you're dealing with, as your significant other, another male that wants to be a female, that dresses up like a cartoon animal, and that turns you on? What the hell kind of life do you have? And of course, you're going to attack somebody who is living a decent life, living a life where they have a legacy, they have children, they have a future, and that enrages them. It brings out their violence. Here's that clip of Erica Kirk I had the other day. I couldn't find it. Whoops. Here we go. It's been a while since I heard it myself. But she's live on Fox. And you have people attacking her. People insulting her. People claiming that she had something to do with it to take over Charlie's business. She did it for the money. I mean, insane things. I tell you, this internet age is warping people's minds. But anyway, I'll play her.
About it. Everything starts small. Okay? So when you start.
What happened? Let me try again. I didn't touch nothing.
About it. Everything starts small. Okay? So when you start.
It won't let me play it. It won't let me play it. I'm sorry, folks. The file's corrupted or something. It shows the whole line underneath and then it just cuts it off. Well, let me see if they'll let me play this one. It shows the whole file being uploaded. I don't know why it blinks off like that. This is Matt Walsh telling people to leave her alone.
And it was clear to me then, and has become all the more clear to me since, as I've gotten to know her more, that this is somebody with an immense amount of strength and courage. So when people look at Erica and say, she's acting strange, I've never seen a grieving person act this way. Well, I agree. She's an exceptional person in an extraordinary situation, handling it with remarkable poise and dignity. That is a virtue, and virtue is a strange thing in our day. And even if she were not an impressive person, she would still be a grieving widow. She would still be my friend's wife. And I would still feel duty-bound to support her, as I have over these past 3 months in ways both public and not. So what I am asking everybody, including Candace, is to please leave this woman alone. Let her grieve. Let her pick up the pieces of her shattered life in whatever way she sees fit. She deserves that grace. And we owe it to her, not because of any specific debt, not because we have no right to question her. Of course, we do have the right. But we have a moral obligation as children of our Heavenly Father to be charitable and kind towards suffering widows, especially the widow of a man that all of us on the right say that we respected and admired. All told, the tragic reality is that 3 months after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the leftists who want us dead are more emboldened than ever. They are thrilled. And that was always the worst possible outcome. It's a trajectory that, if it continues, could destroy not only what Charlie built, but also what's left of the conservative movement, a movement that is the only thing standing between Western civilization and the forces that wish to tear it down brick by brick. That's the reason sociopaths like Tyler Robinson are smiling right now. They know they're winning, and we cannot let them, which means we all must return to the facts, to the truth, and our defense of it, which is the mission that Charlie lived for and died for. We cannot let it die with him.
Yeah, we can't give somebody like I won't say Tyler Robinson specifically, but I will call it the Tyler Robinson crowd. They had all those friends on, what do they call it? Reddit, and the furry clubs, and all. Those people have got to be rejected, discredited, kicked to the curb. It's disgusting, it's demeaning, it's dehumanizing, and no, we can't let that become part of our culture. It's got to be banished from our culture. I'm not even sure what this clip is. This is out of Britain, and I'm like, okay, what's that? Oh, she must be Irish. But anyway, what is this about? Oh, that Labor is no longer the dominant party. They've lost a lot of ground. And you got Nigel Farage is going to be running. I wonder what's going to happen from them putting their bodily fluids in his makeup. And Trump doubled down again about suing the BBC. But anyway.
We've got some breaking news for you now, and that is just in. New leaked membership figures today show that Reform UK has now surpassed Labour to become the largest political party in the UK by membership, marking the first time in 15 years that a party other than Labour has claimed the top spot. As reported in The Times, Labour's membership now stands at below 250,000, almost 20,000 below Reform UK's membership, which totals 268,000.
And of course, Reform UK won their first ever by-election in Scotland. They took the Whitburn and Blackburn ward of West Lothian from Scottish Labour, which is quite something, wasn't it?
Well, indeed.
Yeah, they don't look very happy about that. They don't look very happy that Reform has taken over Labour. I wanted to ask the same thing, Graybeard, but I don't know about women's beauty tips and all that kind of stuff. But I thought it might be a wig too. But if you're going to wear a wig, why would you? I don't know. Maybe it's in fashion. I don't know. What do I know about fashion? Nothing. I know nothing. But anyway, I had another Stephen Miller clip that since they don't like him, I want to play him. Where is it? Oh, I got a clip of this creep that was threatening ICE, and they caught him and locked him up. So, but they say if you play the clips where they threaten ICE, that you can get in trouble. But I think this is a Stephen Miller clip. Let me see. I guess you can type a disclaimer down. But anyway, no, this isn't the kid threatening the ICE. This is Stephen Miller, I believe.
Based on what we have found so far, we believe that the Somali fraud operation in Minnesota is the single greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare fraud in American history. We believe that we have only scratched the very top of the surface of how deep this goes. And you're familiar with all the scams with pretending that children have autism who are not in fact autistic, with pretending to enroll people in food programs when in fact nobody was ever enrolled, and engaging in massive fraud, lying, and theft and grift on a scale we've never seen before in American history. The total bill, the total tab for this is going to be far beyond the numbers we've already seen reported. We believe the state government is fully complicit in this scheme, and we believe that what we are going to uncover is going to shock the American people. Look, based on the records that we already have, and this is a significant undercount, by the way, 75% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare. But that's likely a significant undercount of just how much of a financial burden the Somali refugee population is imposing on this country.
Yeah, this was about 3 or 4 days ago. He went from 70% to 90, possibly 100% of the Somali populace is on the dole. You know that's rigged. They want that to happen. A voter drive. We're financing their votes. We're financing our own replacement. Yeah, everybody handles things different. If I had a wife that I was deeply enamored with, and somebody did that to her, man, I'd be barking and howling and yapping every daggone day, man, till I saw somebody dangling from a rope. They couldn't shut me up for all the gold in the face of the earth. I'd flip over every rock till I found whoever did it. If they couldn't find him, I would. Or somebody did anything to my parents, before their time. I would be the focus of my life every day. So anyway, here we got, what is this stupid, ugly looking thing here? You asked for it, you all, now you got it. Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even remember what this clip was. I got it, I was like, oh man. But hey, let's hope it backfires in their faces. I believe it will.
One of the most powerful people in the Epstein files is somebody you may not have heard of. Her name is Kathy Rumler, and she is one of the people who communicated with Jeffrey most, according to emails released last
This is a chick that was an aide.
She's a former White House counsel.
Let me start this over. This was former White House counsel. Wait a minute. To Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Is it still up there? I want to rewind it. Here we go. Yeah. Everybody's asking. Andrew got in trouble. They're throwing rocks at Donald Trump. But this person who was in direct contact and communication with the President of the United States after Epstein got convicted, she was in contact with Epstein. And don't forget, Epstein was emailing, texting during the congressional hearings on Trump impeachment. What was that congresswoman's name he was texting with that the Washington Post caught her? But anyway, how come nobody's bringing this woman's name up?
One of the most powerful people in the Epstein files is somebody you may not have heard of. Her name is Kathy Rumler, and she is one of the people who communicated with Jeffrey Epstein the most, according to emails released last month from Epstein's estate by House investigators. She's a former White House counsel to Barack Obama, and now top lawyer at one of the world's most powerful banks, Goldman Sachs. Records show that before she joined the bank, they exchanged more than 100 emails, and Epstein's schedule lists them having more than 50 planned meetings between 2014 and 2019, long after he was a registered sex offender. Across the many messages, Rumler emerges as a confidant and friend to Epstein, and he turned to her for help for managing his public reputation after he was convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor. In one 2019 message, for example, Epstein wrote that Rumler helped him craft a statement in response to a forthcoming Washington Post editorial that was calling on Congress to investigate him. He referred to it as the Rumler Proposal. The statement defended Epstein and denied that he ever received a sweetheart deal. This is what Kathy suggests we tell Washington Post, Epstein said. While Rumler told CNN that she did not represent Epstein and was not compensated by him, she did not directly answer whether she ever crafted PR statements for him or advised him on media strategy. Rumler said she had no knowledge of any new or ongoing unlawful activity by Epstein. In an email to Epstein in June 2018, Rumler dismissed a Daily Beast story about allegations against him, describing it as a, quote, novella of rehashed crap. Now, Rumler told CNN she was referring to the article, not the allegations against Epstein, and said, "I have deep sympathy for anyone victimized by Epstein, and as I have said many times, I regret ever knowing him." But at the time, Rumler's correspondence with Epstein often appeared to go beyond professional matters. They gossiped about current events, arranged celebrity lunches and dinners. Epstein even appears to have coordinated some of her personal beauty appointments. In her statement to CNN, Rumler referred to Epstein as a business referral source and said she knew him in a, quote, professional capacity when she worked in private practice. Rumler told CNN, "I did not travel with him, go out to dinner with him, or spend time with him one-on-one, except in a professional setting. As has been well established, Epstein's calendars and schedules often do not reflect reality." What's so interesting about Rumler is that unlike other Epstein associates like Larry Summers or Prince Andrew, who have paid a steep price for their association with Epstein, Rumler has managed to fly under the radar. She remains at Goldman Sachs, which so far has chosen to stand by.
Well, he's doing it in a nice way, but he's saying, how come nobody's talking about this woman? How come nobody's talking about Barack Hussein Obama? Goldman Sachs looks like they got some splaining to do, along with J.P. Morgan. Don't forget, nobody knows how Epstein got all that damn money he had. Okay? And are we going to be finding out a lot of stuff? Well, Debbie, I'm glad you came out of it strong. I've been keeping a loose eye on the chats. Losing a lot of people in your life. I had a period of time about 10, 12 years ago. I lost family members and dear friends. It seemed like every foggy day. I had friends that had sat down to read the paper and were found with their paper on their chests, like they decided to lean back and close their eyes and they never woke up. I had a friend call me that he was in the hospital. He'd been in the hospital for a week. He wasn't feeling good. I said, well, I'm going to come down and see you. It was about a 3-hour drive because I was dealing with some property. And about an hour before I left to see him, the phone rang. And it was another friend that said, don't come to see Pete. I said, why not? He's passed away. What? I just talked to him on the phone. No, he's gone. What was wrong with him? He had liver cancer. He was diagnosed with liver cancer and died within a week. It was shocking. I had another friend who just wouldn't answer his phone one morning. And I had spoken to him 2 days before. And found him, he passed away in his sleep. I got, during that period of time, I probably lost over a dozen friends over a year period, less than a year. It was very difficult to deal with. One of whom was a very good friend of my mother and father's. And he passed away. He was going to go with me to my when my parents were being interred. He was going to come with me for their funeral. And he died about 3 days before that happened. Spoke to him on the phone. Went to see him. And there was police tape around the house. And he passed away. Just before my parents' funeral. Yeah, that was a tough period of my life. So I feel for you, Debbie. You got to be strong. And I can only think how I would have felt if it wasn't natural circumstances, if somebody had done that to any one of my friends or family members, took their life from them. If it hadn't been natural, how I would have reacted, I'd be under the jail or something, God knows. If somebody cheated me out of somebody I loved early, how I would have dealt with it. I wouldn't want to been somebody they would want to be around. I'll put it that way. Thank you, Debbie. Miss Bender Sue. Yeah, Roland, a lot of people from your classes go, Hi, Lori. I haven't sat down and done a count, whether it was 8 or it was at least half a dozen. It was, one guy oh gosh, I'll tell that story some other time. Dear friend of mine was standing right next to him, talking, and a couple of days went by and I got a phone call. Another friend of mine worked for the power company, and I was good friends with him and his wife. And I saw him and his wife, and they brought me some gifts. And they were going home because there was a hurricane coming. Hurricane Sandy was coming through, and they said they had to get home. It was a long drive. They lived a good ways away, and Hurricane Sandy went through, and I called them to see how they did, how they got through it. And she told me her husband, who was with her, who I talked to 2 days earlier, was getting up to go fix a power line and collapsed in the kitchen and never woke up. So it's over a half a dozen during that same time frame. Just the stress of getting these calls to go repair lines during storms and things like that. So anyway, let's see. I got this article by Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and it makes me so sick. I'm not going to read it. This is just a blurb. Federal judge blocks government from detaining Kilmar Abrego Garcia after his release. I don't want to reiterate, how much money these infiltrators, these invaders have cost us, and all these liberal turds in a punch bowl that want to shame us and say, "Oh, you're so mean," and yeah. Kiss my grits. I worry about Americans first, okay? And they have economically starved us out. And it's national security. When you damage our economy this way, when you damage our culture and you damage our voting strength, when you inject the opportunity for illegal voting, that is definitely a national security concern. Al Green put up forth some stuff to impeachment papers. Al Green, who has got to get the hell out of here, along with Jasmine Crockett in Texas. He put forth some impeachment again. And of course, they overwhelmingly, even 70 Democrats voted against it, impeaching Trump. These people are insane. They're vicious. And they don't have your good mind. But Donald Trump has your good mind. Let's see. I got a clip from him. I got a couple of clips from him today. Let's see what he's discussing here.
It's not only land strikes on Venezuela, it's land strikes on horrible people that are bringing in drugs and killing our people. If we were in a war and we lost 300,000 people in a year, because that's what the real number is. It's not 100. You keep hearing 100. And it's a lot worse than that because the families are devastated when they lose their child. If we were in a war and we lost 200,000 or 300,000, but I think it's more than 300,000, and that's a war that's like a war that would be unparalleled. Nobody's ever seen anything like that, and that's what's happening. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in Venezuela. It's people that are bringing in drugs to our country are targets.
Mr. President, at the end of this year, those extended Obamacare subsidies expire. What's your message to...
Anyway, 300,000. Yeah. Yeah, that's an issue, okay? And we're doing something about it. And yeah, they're going to do land strikes. Look for it. It could be going on right now. It could happen tonight while we're sleeping. I don't know. But Maduro's got to make a move or we're going to make a move for him. I don't know what this is. Let me see. I believe this is something the White House posted. Let's see. There you go, about FIFA. And I showed you that video where they were so happy their war started again. They thought that they were so thrilled with that, these creepy liberals. Trump's trying to stop this Ukrainian war. The Kremlin, represented by Peskov, has denied any truces, even if Kiev wants to hold elections and referendums. Remember? Out of the blue, Zelensky said, we'll hold elections, because Trump said, you need to hold elections. You're not really a democracy. Oh, yeah, but we're going to need 90 days. We need a ceasefire. Well, not according to Russia. You're not going to stall for that long. This is good news, because since yesterday, the entire Ukrainian power vertical has been saying that they all want elections, but a truce is needed, and everyone understands perfectly well why. So they can rearm and regroup. They're not going to do anything but try to keep beating Russia, which is a fool's game. The U.S. administration plans to release the crew of the oil tanker captured off the coast of Venezuela when the vessel docks in the port of Galveston, Texas. By the way, part of the crew is of Slavic origin, including from Russia. So you had some Russian crew on that ship. They're all dipping their fingers in that Venezuelan oil. Iran, China, Russia. Turkey has called on Ukraine to agree to territorial losses for the sake of peace, reports CNN Turk, I guess in Turkey. Turkish Foreign Minister Fidan stated that Europe should help Ukraine in making certain difficult decisions. And here we have Medvedev provokes the Americans by stating, the drug-addicted Führer showed the White House the middle finger. He's talking about Zelensky. Zelensky disrespecting people because they consider Zelensky cocaine Führer, they called him. Everyone understands that the referendums on the territories in Ukraine, the negotiations, this is exactly what the clown in Kiev is aiming for. How much longer will you put up with this, America? So Russia's trying to get Trump to exert more pressure on Stinklinsky. Let's see. Von der Leyen, you remember Ursula von der Leyen, through an interview with Politico, warned Trump not to interfere in European affairs. Well, Europe's trying to interfere in our damn affairs. They're trying to drag us into a flipping war. Is this... Whoa. What's going on? I got a little notice on my screen about something. I'm not sure what that was all about. Let's see. Something was screwing up in my studio, but that's all right. I'm back. If you all can hear me good. Who's this? CBS, C-SPAN, Scott Pelley, Walter Cronkite's Awards. Let me see what this is about. I'll just put my ear to the mic.
We are all experiencing trouble getting people to appear on our broadcasts because of the fear that has spread across the country. And yet, given that limitation, we are still on the air telling the public these stories, no matter how difficult it is for us to do the job in the way that we would like to do it.
That's the moron from 60 Minutes. And he's saying everybody's afraid to put out the stories. Why? Because you got your rear end sued for screwing around with that interview with Kamala Harris. Why? Because your producer had to resign in disgrace. So, of course, they're afraid. They're afraid to get up there and tell lies because they get caught. That's why. Remember that story I put up last night about this BLM lady? She got hit with a 25 count indictment for wire fraud, money laundering. How much money was it, folks? Tashela Cherie Amore Dickerson. You know what amore means, love. I don't know what Tashela means, but remember that name. We'll see how much time she gets in the joint. Tashela Cherie Amore Dickerson. Must be French. But anyway, she's going to the big house. Oh, yeah, Trump with his promises. How come Trump's not keeping his promises? Because of jerks like this in the government. National Trust for Historic Preservation sues to try to stop the White House ballroom construction. No, we want to preserve the historic Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? We want to preserve his basketball court. These people are lunatics. And you'll see the left putting in the comments, it's historic. You can't destroy that. It's historic. When everybody knows it's just a damn basketball court. Aha, yeah, 3.2 million. Thank you, Colette. Oh, I've been through the almost 2 hours. I hope you all gave me a thumbs up because it helped the video get around. And I want to thank Pappy and Mike and Bev and Wayne and Norm and Tammy for going by Buy Me a Coffee this week. I appreciate it. I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help out with Buy Me a Coffee. I don't know why I forget, but I did. If you want to help out with Buy Me a Coffee, let me see if I can put that in. Let me see. I'll put it in the chats. That usually helps out until they block me from doing that. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Oh well, forget it. My fingers are too pudgy tonight. I'm not doing well with my coordination. But I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help out with Buy Me a Coffee. Some days I type pretty good. Other days it's a little tough for me, especially when I go down the not so good memory lane. You know what I mean? Little neurological thing. But anyway, I have got a video here of the lefty press getting straightened out by a senator over what the hell a fishing boat is. And anyway, folks, I appreciate you all joining me tonight. And thank you for spending your precious time with me. I should be going live again maybe Sunday night, or if not Sunday, Monday. So if you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. Hit the notification bell. Cash App, they want too much personal information from me. Buy Me a Coffee's very easy, and we got a good crowd. I call them a coffee crowd on there. So anyway, you all have a great night. Enjoy this clip. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
If you can seize an oil tanker without killing anyone, shouldn't that have been the way that these fishing boats were also stopped?
Fishing boats? What is a fishing boat?
Well,
the drug runners?
The drug runners.
Those aren't fishing boats.
Yeah, but
those aren't fishing boats.
If you can
they're
seize a vessel
turbocharged. Okay. Well, let's talk about Article 2 authority. The president, as the commander-in-chief, has identified and designated terrorist organizations who are cartels who run drugs that kill 100,000 Americans a year. So there's no legal question that he has the legal ability to blow those boats out of the water, and they will continue. This, however, these were economic sanctions by the president as delegated by Congress. Those were enforced by civil authorities with the aid of the U.S. Navy. So we're talking about two very different things. But if you're asking me if I have sympathy for narco-terrorists killing Americans whose boats that are carrying the drugs that kill Americans, I don't. I have sympathy for my neighbors in Missouri who've been poisoned, who die. And we finally have a president who cares about them more than the Democrats care about going down to El Salvador to drink margaritas with terrorists.
Senator,
that's how I feel about it.